It's pretty funny. I took a ton of notes this morning. Uh, I mean, I know I sort of channel, you know, suddenly my mom will be in my ear saying something outrageous. But this was like loud. That was pretty loud. And one of the messages that was pretty loud was like practice your ability to tune down the volume of the negative messages. You know, they're going to be out there. They're going to happen, whether it's, you know, when you turn on the radio or, that's not, you know, radio, TV, all these things that are like of a different generation. But one of the messages was going forward, all those, like, first of all, dialogue across age barriers, because that's bullshit. And, you know, we need each other more than ever. And I think particularly a certain attention to the elders and the ancestors is really important now, because the people in power write the history. So I think it's up to us to create a kind of oral history in any way in our lives as teachers or whatever, like tell the true story. And when they go low, we go high. Okay. Yeah, and all the rest of them, all these notes disappeared. So evidently that's not part of the message. But I think the business of, you know, I think there's a difference between the voices of worry or the voices of projection, you know, when it's your voice, but you're doing like that because that's sort of shadow energy. The negative voices that it's hard to own. Why do I do that to myself? Well, we can turn down the volume and we can turn up. It's like when they go down, we go up. There's some kind of balancing that happens. And I think we're going to be energized. I really do. You know, a lot of stuff might happen in 3D that would suggest that we're going to be dragged down, and we're not. I don't know how it works, but the spirit is coming in big time. So I'm using this tarot deck I've had since I was 13 years old. It was the summer of Woodstock. Look it up if you, it was a real time. Got to, now I can't remember the exact quote, but we've got to get ourselves back to the garden. That we do. Okay, and Joni Mitchell is an elder, and you know, who had a stroke and couldn't talk and came back. Beautiful voice. She got her voice back. It was about an octave and a half lower. You know, those usual divides between gender, between race, between elders and youngers. We need each other. Queen of Wands. That's sort of the mystic taking the leadership role. Wands are about doing and being and power. That's feminine power right there. But the landscape that this one lives in and pushes the boundaries of is the mystic of the minor arcana in 3D, accepting that that's your role and that that's your power. This internal drive, the impulse to creativity, the ability to lead by attracting people because of who you are. You're shining so brightly. You know, you're the torch bearer. You're the torch, what's that called? Passing the torch, which takes the person passing it and the person receiving it. I'd also written one of the very few notes that survived was find the light, be the light. And those two don't even need to be linear or sequential. It's always like locate it, locate it, shine it, turn down the volume on those who would drag us down. Not going back. Got me? Here comes Rue. Okay, the table's too crowded. That's communication coming in. Or maybe Queen of Wands has something to say. She's in her power. It's not going to be necessarily about, well, let's see what it's about. Is she the speaker? We don't even, yeah. It's about it takes a village. It's about we're all in this together. This is big ferry boat energy. We all, our spiritual lives are intertwined in 3D. This is what we aspire to. And this is kind of like the rallying cry to the, you know, the family of people who trust the inside messages. Wands can speak to messages, communication, incoming, downloads. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. You can go ahead. Or lie down over there. I'll ignore what Rue's going to do right now. This is, it takes a village. You know, the young, the old, no matter what your line of work, you know, blue collar, white collar, no collar. And I just heard shock collar. There's some people who have a shock collar. You know, they're not allowed to go somewhere because they have a shock collar. What is that? You know, the shock collars, the dogs, that I've always thought that was a very strange thing, and they don't really work. It's a boundary around your property or your yard or wherever you want to confine the dog. And you give them a collar, and this boundary, which is an electrically charged thing, zaps them when they try to go beyond it. And my mother happened to have a dog that was so, he would just blow through it. Shock collar, what does that mean? Page of Cups. That's a very mild energy. That can be younger generation energy. You know, passing the cup, not the torch this time, but we have to give each other everything we need. And I think the first is a new way of loving, maybe cross the boundary that would shock collar us if maybe we're supposed to be like Mom's stupid dog and just bull through. I don't know. But this isn't a bulling through energy. It could be like somebody is very emphatically saying, you know, kind of at the top of their lungs, because this can be very loud. Some kind of apology? I don't think that's it, though. What's the message or the messenger, the delivery system this fairly emphatic Knight of Swords who wants to say something about people who are out in the cold. I'm sorry I left you out in the cold. Well, we've gone from 5 of Pentacles to 10 of Pentacles. This is an energy of the collective, taking care of each other, pooling our energy, pooling our resources. You know, when they go low, we go high. You know, this is like abundance and home and family and hearth. And in that way, it speaks to internal fire. Nobody dims the light. But somebody is saying, in a kind of tentative way, I'm sorry for this out in the cold business. And here I come. And I think, because this guy is running away from that, you know, nobody puts baby in the corner. I can't remember the name of that film, but baby was a dancer, and somebody was telling baby, nobody puts baby in a corner. Like, don't play small. I think Queen of Wands found a way out of the cold, and may have set an example for other people to do that. Because wands are inspirational. You know, I saw how you did it. You didn't tell me how to do it. You know, you basically showed me by what you did. So this person may have found the light and is now being the light. You know, Queen of Wands, pass the torch. I think you inspire, because wands are a lot about inspiration and personal power. You inspire people without, you know, being overt about it, to shine the light, to find the light, to be the light. This is wands energy, and it's both a card of, wands can be curiosity and exploration, determination, forward movement, passing the torch. What's the apology about? Queen of Cups. Well, that counts. I mean, that's from a big-hearted person, or to a big, I'd written down, which is like, I need to remind myself and you, that it's the energies that flow to you or emanate from you. You go high. Somebody may be offering you an apology, and you're very gracious about it, because they're new at this. They're in page energy. They may be a lot younger than you, or just like a young soul. You're an old soul. You've got this love business under your hat. You give freely. You're open-hearted. And I do think you're going to burst out of, you've probably already done this. You know, warming up after a period maybe of 5 years anyway, you know, maybe in financial deprivation, or being unhoused, or being rejected by a group. This was bound to change. It's a 5 card. Those are about change. But you pushed through. And there's sort of like you're not alone. There are 2 people here. One of them's on crutches with a bandage on their head. The other has 1 sock on and the other foot is bare. Like, not an easy time, but you endured this time. And now you're kind of springing forward. And this person may be trying to be the light, and they're new at it. I think they're hard at work. You've gained mastery. This is a card of mastery, of knowing how to realize something. And working on the last pentacle, it's like you've done the work, you're stable, you've done the work of connection. I very often feel like I'm by myself, but am I connected to the collective? You guys were this. But it's driven, it's a 3D experience, but this is the, who's in the driver's seat. This intuitive creative energy that is unstoppable, basically. Remember I said the dog who broke through the boundary? It's like, screw your shock collar. But it's loving. I mean, I'm a little bit like this. I'm a little bit like this. And it's possible that, because this has a slightly double meaning of the family, the legacy, and sometimes the weight of it, because pentacles are heavy. Like something that was made a long time. I mean, it's sort of that generational thing as well. I don't know if you can see, but there are old people, young people, parents, grandparents. The dog is in the picture. It's really inclusive. But sometimes there's a weight of the legacy. And I did have a feeling the other day I was trying to go to sleep and I was burdened by worries, and I felt like they were getting heavier and I could feel them physically. And there was an old Dark Ages torture, and this came to mind, where you just put one stone after the other on a person, trying to make them confess, trying to coerce them into something. And I got that feeling. But then it was like the stones were being removed. I just felt less burdened, lighter. Okay. Life force energy coming back to me quickly. It's almost like the circulation coming back. Lighting up the Dark Ages. These are the Dark Ages. And it may have nothing to do with money or being left out in the cold by a particular person. Whatever it was, you made more. Nobody keeps baby in a corner. It's like, watch her dance. Watch her express herself. Watch her, let her life force rip. Dance like nobody's watching. Dance like everybody's watching. Shine it brightly. That may be your life work. You may be an artist. You may be a dancer. But certainly you're somebody who attracts attention. Queen of Wands is attractive, but easy on the eyes, beautiful, inspiring. And I think you have something to say, perhaps even to your family. to your friends, to your peeps, to your, you know, you're a leader, but on the level of the inner realm. Tell me about the Queen of Wands. Okay. Is it all of these? Okay, Queen of Wands and the other cards as well that are on the board already. Well, that's it. Remember I said you rule the inner realm? High Priestess. That's major arcana card of the ruler of the inner realm. The one who doesn't talk about it. I'm not doing it for you. Be the light. You know, it's like none of us can escape the responsibility of finding the light and being the light, shining the light, passing the torch, all these light images. But this is a can't talk about it energy. It has to be experienced. So something you do, one's energy, demonstrates the internal light, the light of creativity, of not chasing. You know, whatever finding of the light you do, it isn't like, well, let's see. Tell us about 10 of Pentacles, 4 of Pentacles. Somebody's been holding back, keeping the cork in. You know, keeping the genie in the bottle, baby in a corner. You know, this is a card of great isolation, really. I'm closed off. I'm closed off. You know, I want to keep what I have. You know, maybe because I've been here in a place of such depletion, I really, truly had to conserve my energy for a while. This is like, I'm seeing it now as plugging in to recharge your batteries. But you're invited to light the way to this place for the collective and to, you know, be a leader. There's the rallying cry. But it's messages from the inside. This is somehow, too, like the echo chamber. It may be messages that you got in the past that really got louder 5 years ago. A significant time given the times we're in now. And it was a message about your own self-worth. Somehow somebody was emphatically trying to get you to believe, sword energy, that you weren't worthy, Pentacles. That you didn't matter, Earth energy, matter. You know, something real and substantial. So you had to recharge. And now you're charging. You've like regained your voice. It's almost like somebody, some experience almost cut out your tongue. There's a show called True Detective, and it's a rough ride, let me tell you. And there was a crime where that happened to somebody. Card of healing. Healing the idea that you're not worthy. You know, maybe because you're not rich, or maybe because you're not in the status quo. Maybe because you're wounded and you need help. You're helping each other. This collective is made up of people who help each other. You know, old and young, black and white and brown, and everything in between. male, female, everything in between. We're on a spectrum. You know, it takes a village. Neurodivergence, all of that, because we're all, there is no complete standard, but there was mental healing from a situation that maybe required an apology because somebody was new at this. And it may be that they really needed to heal what they believed in before they could be the light. Knight of Swords. They had a lot of work to do. Eight of Pentacles. They may have been shut off. You know, they had the volume turned down so low, they couldn't hear the internal messages because you weren't going to do it for them. You weren't going to say, can you hear it? This is what they're saying. I think you did that a lot. To people who wouldn't hear, who were like this. La, 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 you know. La, la, la. It's really not funny, but maybe it's a little funny. Because they were scared. I think we lost a card. Oh, yeah. This holding back thing. Because they were scared. The 9 card. The personal. And their holding back might have given you great anxiety. You might have been afraid for them. It may have caused you to be fearful and to protect yourself. Your own messages coming in from your higher power may be freaking you out a little bit. I mean, I'm kind of used to it, and it didn't freak me out, but it was like, whoa, this is new. This is new. Turn up the loving messages. Don't go back. When they go low, we go high. No going back. Makes me want to cry. On 8 of Pentacles, the Star card. A card of healing. A card of the collective. It's about clarity. It's not this state. It might be acknowledging, look, you can't heal what you don't acknowledge. That's shadow energy. Look at it first. I mean, I'm not trying to lecture, maybe a little bit, but, you know, somebody let their fear hold them back from this kind of connection, connectivity. That's how you recharge your batteries. It's like working off a group energy. And you don't have to be there in 3D to do that with people. You can be there in a 5D energy. You know, she has big scoops on her ears. So it's not about not hearing messages, but there's sort of messages from beyond, and they reconcile differences. Maybe somebody may have run away. You know, la 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 la. I can't hear that. It freaks me out. How are you tuning into my frequency? You know, they might want to turn the wrong messages down. And the heart messages and the messages of light, they might want to turn down. But they've healed that. You know, Mercury is doing something. I think it's in Chiron. I think it's squaring, you know, I need to take a course in astrology because I'm sort of pitiful at it, but messages, Mercury has to do with communication. Chiron has to do with wounds that are being healed. Wounds. Something left this person on crutches and with, you know, one sock. But helping each other nevertheless, the collective kind of coming together. And there's a protection against fear. Like, it's sort of like circling the wagons a little bit. 10 of Pentacles. Like, don't be scared. You're not in this alone. We're in it together. People can resist that. They can. They can keep that magical genie in the bottle. You're not going to tell them how to release it. Knight of Swords. Well, maybe I take that back. But this could be they have to discover it for themselves. It's an ace card about the self. Their own truth. And somebody may be coming in to tell you a truth. And they're scared, Nine of Swords. They may feel bad. They may be haunted, kind of, about the truths they didn't tell, the questions they didn't answer, the ways in which they kept it all plugged up. They needed to recharge their batteries and plug into this. Highly intuitive, feminine energy. And it's not necessarily a guy that has to do this. It could be just owning your own power. Don't be afraid. Don't hide your light under a bushel. Don't put a cork in it. You know, let your freak flag fly. Be the genie. And this is a card of wish granted. Some sort of collective energy about healing and lighting the way and being the guide and listening to the guide. Listening with your intuitive ear scoops. What are those? You know, satellite dishes. I mean, none of this maybe makes sense to the new technology, but there used to be scoops where you could listen not only to what was happening around you, but in space. Like hear the Big Bang, you know. All right, we've got a couple more here on Queen of Cups, Page of Wands. So we have Page of Cups, Page of Wands. This is new. It's a new, you know, it's a new take on love. It's healed love. It's a new path, a new direction for love to go. You know, find the light, be the light. You're lighting the way. I mean, you are a torchbearer. You know, you may feel young, you may be young. Nevertheless, you know, your gesture to, you know, even in the littlest ways, to give a nod to, you know, recognizing connection. This can just be like, doesn't have to be an apology. It can just be like a kind word. When we go high, we don't have to, you know, bust through the ceiling. Whatever we can do in 3D changes the equation. It's like adding another cupful of love into the big cauldron that is us. It's kicking in love, a little bit, a little bit, a little bit. Oh my God, lovers. I'm gonna stop it there, and I'll do the last little bit in a minute. Yeah, that's fine. I'll do the rest in a minute, and you know, boatloads of love. I'll see you in a minute.